A mother wakes up to find her baby's crib empty and the front door wide open. What really happened to 20-month-old Quinton Simon that night? Did someone break in? Or was the truth hiding inside the house all along?
Door being left open and Michelle walked outside. There was none of that. None of it at all. Whatever happened, somebody picked that baby up out of that playpen and they took it with them. That's what they did. There's no way he can get out of that playpen on his own.
On the morning of October 5th, 2022, panic spread through a quiet Georgia neighborhood when little Quinton vanished without a trace. His mother insisted no door was left open, no signs of a child wandering off, only silence. But as police dug deeper, they uncovered secrets so dark they would change everything about this family forever.
I know you know what happened. I know you know where Quinton is.
I don't know where he is. I don't know where he is.
And it's why you're gonna have to talk about what happened.
I'm told everybody's what happened.
And where you took Quinton.
I didn't take him anywhere.
Okay?
I didn't take him anywhere.
On the morning of October 5th, 2022, 20-year-old Leilani Simon awoke to a nightmare. Her 20-month-old son, Quinton Simon, had vanished from his playpen. The young mother of 3 quickly realized something was terribly wrong. 2 of her children were still sound asleep, but Quinton was nowhere to be found. Panicked, she contacted her live-in fiancé, Daniel Youngkin, known as Danny, who immediately left work and rushed home. Within minutes, they called emergency services. Chatham County officers were dispatched to the family's home at 535 Buckhalter Road. When they arrived, they were met by a frantic Leilani who claimed she had woken around 9 a.m. to find the front door wide open and her toddler missing.
I woke up about 10 o'clock and the door was 6, so within a 3-hour period, somehow the front door is unlocked and my son is not in his blanket.
What was your son last wearing?
He was wearing Sesame Street, like the jolly shirt, and red and black shorts, red and black jean shorts.
Officers took note that the home had 3 exits, 2 at the back, through the living and dining rooms, and 1 at the front, which Leilani said she discovered open.
Now, how open was the door? Just about a foot.
Open enough that I see that open my eyes, I can see outside my house.
As she explained her morning, her story raised immediate concern. She said Quinton had been wearing a Sesame Street-themed outfit when she last saw him. Danny told investigators he had left the house at around 5 a.m. for work and hadn't checked on the kids before leaving, assuming Leilani would be home all day. He even texted their babysitter, Michelle, not to come by. Given the child's age and the strange circumstances, authorities feared a possible abduction. The case quickly escalated, and the FBI joined local law enforcement to assist. Detectives began reconstructing the family's activities from the night before. Leilani told them she had gone to bed around midnight and hadn't left the house since. She added that she'd had her wisdom teeth removed the previous day and was resting at home, taking it easy because of the pain. However, something about her account didn't quite add up. While officers processed the scene, photographing the home, vehicles, and surrounding property, another detective reviewing local traffic cameras made a crucial discovery. Using the flock system, which captures license plates at major intersections, they ran the plates for Leilani's Dodge Charger. What they found completely contradicted her statement. Surveillance showed Leilani's car had been on the move in the early hours of October 5th, long after she claimed she'd gone to bed.
Did y'all go anywhere last night or yesterday with baby that maybe he could have followed you or something like that? Y'all didn't go anywhere?
Not kids,
No, just did you, maybe you yourself.
Yeah, I know, because I got my tooth pulled yesterday, so can you imagine? I went to some Oregon, that was it.
2 o'clock yesterday afternoon?
No, like morning, wise, because I couldn't go to sleep.
Okay, so where'd you go?
Right up the road right here, got Chevron.
When detectives confronted her with this information, her story began to shift. She explained that her mouth pain had become unbearable during the night, forcing her to drive out to get oral gel from a former coworker named Misty, who lived nearby. She said she was gone for only 12 minutes, returning home around 1:25 a.m. But detectives weren't satisfied. They asked for more details, and Leilani began piecing together an account of her night.
I met my friend that I used to work with. She had order milk because they didn't have any extra okay when I called.
Okay. So when did you get home?
Was it even 2? I was home at 1:25.
At 1:25?
So I was gone for literally 12 minutes.
And you went where?
Right up the road to next to that Chevron.
Oh, the 40 over here on right here on the
Right up the road, because I used to work at Bojangles, so I had a girl named Misty that
I gotta borrow her for the canine.
Okay, give me just a second.
Yeah.
I had there's a girl named Misty that I used to work with who had dental problems as well, so I got in contact with her and asked her if she had Oreo, because when I called Circle K, they said they didn't have any.
Okay, did you notice anybody following you or anything?
I don't know.
Did you go back out at all anytime at the time?
When I did get back, there was a car, which is why that lady mentioned it, whatever. I was thinking that maybe the car was for people across the street, but it was another little gray car sitting out front of the house.
Okay.
So I was thinking it was for across the street, it wasn't neighbors, so I don't know.
So you said you got home about 1:30?
Yes, it's 1:25 a.m. was the exact time that I got home. I was gone for a total of 12 minutes.
Okay, all right. Nobody followed you, right?
She said she'd been in severe discomfort from her dental surgery and had contacted a friend for Oragel. According to her, she met this friend, Misty, at the Chevron station down the road. She even mentioned checking on her kids again after getting home and finding them all fine.
My mouth was really bothering me about almost 1 in the morning. So I called Circle K to see if they had Oragel. No. So I got in contact with another one of my friends named Misty that I used to work with. Who has a lot of mouth problems, and asked her if she had any Oragel. I met her up there at the Chevron. And I called her and got back and went back home. Y'all, it's on 12 minutes. I got it for my like 360. I can show y'all right around everything that's on the left bill so I get back. Got home, in my mouth, checked on all the kids again. They were all good.
What time was that today?
It was 1:25. I looked at my app when they asked me to. Now I got home. And I was on 12 minutes. Literally what it showed.
Detectives also learned about Quinton's biological father, Henry Bubba Moss, a man Leilani hadn't spoken to in months. While discussing him, she handed over her phone to show some messages, a move that would soon backfire.
It's the new one that he recently sent me a friend request with, so I can see if I try to get in contact with him, but I'm blocked on that. We saw a little contacts, a little memories.
Are those still on your phone?
Huh?
Are those messages still on your phone, maybe?
I don't know if it's still on that phone. I have multiple different phones. I have like 3 Facebooks.
Do you have your phones here?
They're
Okay. Do you mind if we get the password to your phone so we can look it up?
okay.
In her texts, investigators found one saying she was going to run to 204, referring to a nearby highway. GPS data confirmed that around 10:30 p.m. on October 4th, she had driven 2 miles to a Chevron gas station, a place known for drug activity. That trip was never mentioned in her story. As detectives explored her phone further, they found more inconsistencies, multiple unreported trips that night, and text conversations about buying drugs.
Yeah, and I was already heading back by the time that.
So at 10:40, you texted him that you were turning on 204 to go meet him?
Yeah, like I'm turning on 204 now, like I'm about to meet him. That's what I was trying to tell him.
And at that point, you didn't get anything.
No, I just paid him $20. I gave him $20 and I left. It was a couple days ago.
See, you didn't get a percent for that after.
I just gave him $20. And even though I didn't want to get a person, like $35. Last time I asked him. I was expressing. I don't do this like that. Like, anything, anybody ever worry about anything with me is on me. Because that was me. I was if anything else, I was what's your name? That's your whiskey covered. That's it. Anything that's not homegrown or you need something? I don't want homegrown. I don't cook those stuff when you got hurt. Homegrown is wrong. Not creative.
When confronted, Leilani denied taking anything, even offering to take a drug test, but her defensiveness only raised more suspicion.
So we have to give that understanding as to, what went on. That you gave us the authorization to go through the text messages. There's text messages in there unless you purchased them post as recently as within the past 24 to 48 hours. So just you want to call me about that data or you tell me understand that.
So,
What's
Then came the final blow. The friend she claimed to have met, Misty, didn't exist. Investigators found a woman named Melissa Bray, a former co-worker who went by Missy, and she confirmed she hadn't seen Leilani in months. With every lie exposed and surveillance footage contradicting her timeline, investigators realized this was no longer just a missing child case. Something far darker had happened to baby Quinton. 3 days after Quinton Simon's disappearance on October 8th, Leilani Simon was brought back in for another interrogation. Detectives were determined to uncover the truth this time, and they had far more information than before. The tone in the room had changed. The officers were no longer just listening. They were confronting. They began by acknowledging her stressful situation. She'd recently had her wisdom teeth removed, was in pain, and was struggling to manage her children while tensions with her boyfriend Danny continued to grow.
So you're mom of 3, that's stressful, right? You had your wisdom teeth taken out, you're hurting, in pain, right? You still gotta cook dinner for the kids. My understanding, you and Danny aren't getting along at night either, right? And sometimes people just get frustrated, right? And we do rash things, right? And things happen that we didn't mean to happen, right? And then we don't have to deal with that.
They knew her patience was thin, but they also knew something else. Her story didn't add up. Investigators had now seen the surveillance footage from the early hours of October 5th. At exactly 1:10 a.m., cameras captured Leilani's Dodge Journey leaving her home at 535 Buckhalter Road and heading toward the Azalea Mobile Home Plaza. This area was lined with CCTV cameras, allowing detectives to track every movement of her vehicle. The footage showed her entering the complex, looping around, and then pulling up near a dumpster at around 1:16 a.m. Her car stayed there for over 2 minutes, headlights on, before exiting the one-way road and heading straight back home. That 2-minute stop changed everything. It wasn't a quick errand or a casual drive. It looked deliberate. Investigators couldn't ignore the timing or the location. Why would a mother of 3, supposedly in bed nursing dental pain, be out driving at that hour? And why had she stopped by a dumpster? When they confronted Leilani with this evidence, her story started shifting again.
You've gone off this story for a while now, and I know it's not true.
It is.
Leilani,
That's what I'm
we're not going to make any progress unless
I this is Chevron. This is Azalea. That's where it pulled into. I turned around. I was only gone for 12 minutes. My baby was in the bed when I left that house.
Leilani, calm down. We're not getting anywhere, right? We're going to get to the bottom of this,
Yes.
right? But you have to be honest.
I'm being honest.
We know through video surveillance you were not at that Chevron, but we do know where you were at.
I pulled into the Azalea and I stopped her and got a little bit direction. I pulled around and I told her that it was right next to Chevron.
In her first interview, she had claimed she went to the Chevron gas station to meet her friend Misty to get oral gel for her toothache. Now, when detectives mentioned the existence of CCTV cameras at that Chevron, she quickly changed her version. This time, she said she didn't actually meet Misty at the gas station, but somewhere next to it near a trailer park.
Pulled in, got the orange gel, turned around, and went back home.
And how did you turn around?
Pulled straight around the neighborhood.
What neighborhood?
The one right next to Chevron. It's Azalea. Right next to it.
Azalea? And what kind of neighborhood is that?
It's a trailer park.
It's a trailer park?
Yes.
Okay. And when you were in the trailer park, you pulled right back out?
Yes. I pulled it in and I pulled it out.
Okay, so why does video surveillance show you stopping
Stopping to get the orange gel.
within the trailer park?
Getting the orange gel.
Investigators pressed her for details. She admitted she'd driven into a trailer park beside the Chevron, but insisted she had only turned around and left immediately. However, the footage told a different story. Her car had stopped for a full 2 minutes.
You're not near the Chevron.
No, she lives in the Chevron. Pulled in, her shut. Misty, the one who gave me, I gave her as much information.
Well, let's talk about that, okay? Because Misty hadn't talked to you.
Yeah, she has.
She hasn't talked to you in quite some time.
Yeah, she has.
She did not have a conversation with you about the origin.
Yes.
So in your mind, you've looked at all these timestamps and plausibly came up with a story that is partly true.
No, that is true.
But there's very, very many missing pieces, right? And in your story, you haven't been completely honest about where you were at and why you were there.
I was 100% honest about where I was at. I showed the Life 360. I told him I even gave him the Orajel that she gave me.
Right, and that didn't happen. We've already interviewed this.
I got the Orajel. That did happen. She got that lump inside her mouth. That's the reason why I asked her for it.
When asked why, she struggled for an answer. She claimed she had spoken to Misty there even though detectives had already confirmed that Misty hadn't seen her that night, nor had she talked to her in months.
You have to stop saying this. It did not happen.
Yes, it did.
Right? And Lonnie, right? To get through this, you're gonna have to talk about what happened.
As the conversation continued, Leilani became defensive and emotional. She insisted she had told the truth, repeating that Quinton had been at home, asleep in his bed, when she went to bed that night.
And where you took Quentin.
I didn't take Quinton anywhere.
Okay?
I didn't take him anywhere. He was at my house. He was in that bed. I was just here. I was Stacy while I was in the bed. The only thing that I sit there possibly blame myself on is when I came back in after I smoked a cigarette that I may not have shut that door all the way. And then someone maybe may have gone somewhere. It's the only thing I've been questioning myself about. I was sleeping and drugs in my system. I couldn't even feel my mouth. So I don't know if I locked that door and pushed it all the way in, but it was open when I got up.
The only thing she admitted to questioning herself about was whether she might have accidentally left the door slightly open after smoking a cigarette outside. Maybe, she said, that was how Quinton wandered off. It was a fragile explanation, one that detectives didn't buy.
And I'm sticking to everything that I've said because I'm telling the truth.
The door was closed.
No, that's what they say, but the door is open. And Danny said that when he left, that the door that they said was open from 2:30 to 5:44 was shut when he left. I think my system is messed up. And that's what I told them because that door was open when I got up in my bed and I had that bed.
At this point, the investigation took a crucial turn. The detectives had something solid: the home's ADT security system records. This system, which logs when doors open and close, was a reliable timeline tool. The data from October 5th showed that after Danny left for work at 5:47 a.m., the front door didn't open again until 9:22 a.m. This evidence blew apart Leilani's story. She had claimed that when she woke up around 9 a.m., the door was already open and Quinton was gone. But according to the ADT records, she herself had opened that door 8 minutes after her first call to Danny at 9:14 a.m., when she told him that Quinton was missing.
Lonnie, the door was open.
Yes, it was.
And look,
Yes, it was. The door was open.
you said, like, you would never hurt or harm
No,
Quentin.
no, I wouldn't.
And in this circumstance, something happened,
No,
right?
no, I did not. Nothing happened when he was in my care. I did not hurt him. I did not take him anywhere. I went to bed with that baby in the bed and I got up with him gone.
In other words, she had made that call before the door had ever been opened. The contradiction was devastating. It meant she had lied about the sequence of events that morning. When questioned again, she became more erratic, repeatedly insisting that she hadn't hurt her son and didn't know where he was.
Okay. I'm devastated. I'm seeing every question now that last night my own husband was questioning me, making me question myself. Well, did you shut that door? Are you sure you're not the reason that something could have happened? I mean, it's all stuff like that.
Well, you keep telling yourself this story over and over. We're done with that story, right? And you keep trying to convince yourself that the evidence is not pointing to that, right? You try to put a timeline together to cover up.
I had tried nothing together.
What happened that night, and you're the only one that can tell us what happened.
Detectives pointed out that every timeline she'd given was inconsistent. Every new explanation conflicted with the last. Still, she refused to budge. Her behavior was increasingly unpredictable.
We just want to find Quentin.
Yes,
Right?
we do. We all do. I've been asking help searching everything.
And they have been. They're still out there searching, right? But you can help us find him. I 100% believe that. You can help us find
He
him.
was in the bed in my
Okay.
emergency.
So when you left and you drove through the trailer park and you stopped for a while,
I just stopped for a while.
what was going through your mind?
Let's come to the mind, get the seat, get the Orajel, because I did speak to her and I did get Orajel.
So you did not talk to Misty.
Yes, I did.
We've already talked about that.
I spoke to you.
And until you start being 100% honest with me, you're going down the same road, okay? We're not getting anywhere. You said you wanted to be healthy.
I do. That's why I've done everything I can, and I don't know where my baby is. Okay,
times, she appeared desperate for sympathy, and at others she was combative, even accusing investigators of twisting her words. She demanded that they believe her, maintaining that Quinton had been in bed when she went to sleep and that she woke up to find him gone.
I know you were sitting there thinking about what you were going to do with Quinton.
No, I was
So
not.
that's something that already happened.
No, it was not. That baby was in my bed when I went to bed. Danny seen him when he left to go to work. Okay? So no, he was home. He was in that bed. He was asleep.
Right. And we both know that's not true.
He is true. He was home.
Yeah.
He was even Danny. Even he said he seen him before he went to work. So I don't understand how that could not be true, or how I could have done something to him. What? 1 something in the morning? That's literally physically impossible when he was seen that morning.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
I don't know about my baby.
So Danny told us that he can't 100% confirm that he actually saw Quinton in the crib that morning.
So he told me that he 100% said he's seen him.
He's told us that he cannot say that. Right?
He was in
And,
that bed.
and that's different than the first night, right? That you guys talked to the police, because you put that in your statement.
Yeah, so that he told me 100% that he seen him that morning.
He cannot 100% say that he saw Quinton that morning. And so that leaves another hole in your story, right?
No, that's what he told me. That he got a phone call and screaming and yelling, "Where's my baby?
I'm telling
Where's
you
my
right now,
baby?"
that's not the case. Because we know that you know what happened.
I do not know what happened.
The lie you do,
I don't.
right?
I don't know where he is. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know where he would be gone. He was in that bed when I went to sleep, and when I got up, he was gone. I was freaking out, screaming, yelling, crying, call the ambulance, in the house.
As many times as you repeat that story, it doesn't make it true.
But it is true.
It's not true.
It is.
Right? And you used to talk about how much you love your
I do. I love them all, but that is true.
and you want to help us find Quinton.
Yes.
And you can do that,
I'm trying.
right?
I'm trying. I'm just trying to get my phone. I'm just trying to get property because I have been. I do not know where my baby is. And I wish I did because he'd be right here.
Right.
He really would.
Despite her protests, detectives knew the window of possibility for an abduction had already closed.
Nobody thinks you're a horrible person.
Because I didn't hurt him. I didn't do anything. I didn't take him anywhere. That baby was at that house all night long. And I know.
But given circumstances, things happen, and we don't mean for them to. Okay? Doesn't make you a horrible person.
I understand that, but
It makes you a human being.
I didn't hurt him, and I don't know where he's at, and I want him home. I did not hurt him. I did not take him nowhere. The last time he was in that car was when I picked him up at 4:30 in the afternoon.
And as a mother, going through this, like I said, sometimes things happen and we don't mean for them to. It doesn't mean anything was done intentionally. But like I said, you were going through a lot that night.
I didn't hurt the baby. I don't know where he is.
And being like, so listen, being in that situation, sometimes people panic.
That's my final answer to y'all's question. I did not hurt him. I do not know where he was. And the last person that told me that he 100% seen him in that bed when I called him and asked him where Quinton was Danny. That's my last thing I've got to say. Their story has not changed. I gave y'all everything that I could. I've gone through this over and over and over and over and over.
And I'm trying to explain to you that there's inconsistencies in your story.
But I've shown everything.
And
I've done everything. I did everything that the reason I could.
it doesn't add up. It really doesn't.
It's because there's a piece of the puzzle missing, but it's not me.
It's you.
It's not.
It's absolutely.
It is not me.
It is absolutely.
No.
And you can repeat that over and over and over again. It doesn't make it true.
It's not me.
The search for Quinton had expanded across the area. Hundreds of officers and volunteers combed through woods, fields, and bodies of water. But 7 days into the investigation, on October 12, 2022, Chatham County Police made a grim announcement. They believed Quinton Simon was dead. And they named his mother Leilani, as the prime suspect. It was a stunning turn. What began as a missing child case had now become a suspected homicide. Investigators were convinced that Quinton's tiny body had been discarded like trash in the middle of the night. With local detectives reaching an impasse, the FBI stepped in to take over Leilani's questioning, using a more measured and strategic approach.
You did a phenomenal job providing just a tremendous amount of detail that's been helpful for us throughout this entire process.
During this new interrogation, agents used a calmer tone, guiding her gently but deliberately through her story. Gradually, cracks began to form. She started contradicting herself, backtracking on key points from her earlier interviews.
I didn't want to put my judges on there. That's understandable. I was on purpose.
You did.
I did. They were so good. Yeah, I did. And that's part of what I did do. When I was really good, I just didn't tell the truth about them.
For the first time, she admitted that she had actually gone out on the night of October 4th. Not for pain relief, but to meet her drug dealer. She said she had driven to Route 204 and met her dealer on Arkwright Lane, not near the Chevron, as she had previously claimed. This confession destroyed another piece of her story. The Misty and Oragel explanation was nothing more than a cover. FBI agents pressed further, asking about her supposed call to the local Circle K convenience store that night. Records showed no such call had ever happened.
She's really right there towards the front. Yeah.
No, just, I want you to just Missy has no recollection at all. And she did not, and there's no communication. There's no communication between you or Missy on Missy's phone or your phone about you.
There was also no communication between her and anyone named Missy or Misty in her phone logs. The entire meeting was a fabrication. As the pressure mounted, Leilani's defenses began to crumble.
You get different phone numbers, it changes over a certain amount of time. The numbers that change on its own. You know, especially if you're not paying for it. So that would be part of the reason that I get some improvement and that time you're wrong.
Just tell me exactly how you drove into the trailer park, how you drove in, and where Missy's house is.
When you drive in, Missy's house is one of the very first houses on the right-hand side. So I walk in, and she walked up, and pull on.
So you went to Missy's house, and did you go inside her house? She was just standing
I just
outside.
stand inside.
Okay.
Trying to drive into.
Yeah, I was trying to drive. Like I knew the police hit me.
How long did y'all interact with Missy? How long?
2-3 minutes. It was a quick little conversation. I can't really do enough for mouth doing so.
When asked again to describe her route through the trailer park that night, she grew visibly tense. Agents could sense she was nearing her breaking point.
She's got to understand. She's a prostitute. 100% true. 100%. Listen, I've been away. We're going
It's big that she did that. I couldn't tell her enough.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because
It's a lot of long way not to.
so, did you get any word about that night?
I didn't know what that
Did
was.
you get word
But I found it, and the card was one of the ones that I lost. And I found it when I got back to the house.
Slowly, she began walking back her lies, admitting that she hadn't actually met anyone named Misty that night after all. Finally, the conversation turned to the 2-minute stop at the dumpster, the moment caught clearly on surveillance footage. When pressed about it, Leilani reluctantly admitted that she had indeed stopped there, but claimed it was to throw out some trash from her car.
When you get mentioned some money from the trash, yeah, I did run the trash. This Dan was supposed to take trash out a few days ago, and there was spoiled food all in my car. So I pulled around and spent my gas out of my trash. Yeah, it was ports, like shrimp pasta.
Shrimp pasta.
Yeah. The whole car smelled like shrimp. You know,
How to wait.
yeah, because I got in there, I was like, what is that smell? I felt that before, even though we go to 204. You know, I felt that before, and I'm like, get out of the car, and I'm like, and we use Glade trash bags. Okay, I said that Glade gray trash bags.
So, did you stop anywhere else at all?
I went straight back home, and that's when
She said it was leftover food, shrimp pasta that had started to stink, and she'd simply wanted to get rid of it. She insisted she hadn't mentioned it earlier because she thought it was a minor detail that didn't matter. Detectives didn't believe her for a second. The timing, location, and secrecy all pointed to something far more sinister. They were convinced that the trash bag she threw away that night contained Quinton, whether alive or not. Leilani continued to deny it, repeating that it was just spoiled food. Her explanation only deepened the investigators' suspicion. They pressed harder, asking why she hadn't mentioned this supposedly harmless errand from the beginning. Her answer was simple. She said she didn't think it was relevant. Throughout the questioning, her contradictions piled up. She admitted to being a cocaine user and blamed her inconsistent memories on drug use. But when the focus returned to her missing son, she went quiet. Her defiance melted into silence. She insisted she didn't know anything, that she had no idea where Quinton was, and that she wished he could just come home. But by then, the investigators were convinced the truth lay in that 2-minute stop at the dumpster. It wasn't a random act or a small oversight. It was a moment carefully concealed behind layers of lies, confusion, and guilt. That dumpster, in the Azalea Mobile Home Plaza, now became the center of the investigation. Every lead, every search, and every question would circle back to it, because somewhere in that brief, quiet window of time, the secret of what happened to 20-month-old Quinton Simon was waiting to be uncovered. After days of frustration and false leads, investigators finally focused their attention on one grim possibility: the landfill. Detectives traced the local trash collection route to a company called Waste Pro, which handled garbage from the area surrounding Leilani Simon's home. But it had already been more than a week since the trucks made their rounds, meaning whatever had been dumped was now buried deep beneath tons of compacted waste. Still, investigators knew they couldn't ignore the possibility. If Quinton's tiny remains were anywhere, they might be in that landfill. On October 18, 2022, the Chatham County Police Department announced a massive search operation. Dozens of officers and volunteers braced themselves for one of the most grueling tasks imaginable, sifting through literal mountains of rotting trash in the hope of finding a child. Over 100 people joined the mission, working through heat, stench, and exhaustion, determined to uncover the truth. Day after day, they dug, combed, and searched every inch of the landfill, trying to find the smallest trace that could bring justice for little Quinton Simon. As the search continued, the case had already become a national headline. The public watched in heartbreak and disbelief. In the middle of this chaos, Leilani and her mother, Billie Jo Howell, appeared on television, insisting they wanted Quinton found.
I've been here every day since this. I am not running and I'm not hiding. And if something does come up that I am at fault, I will take myself to that police station.
Billie Jo stood by her daughter at first, saying she wouldn't hide if she was responsible, but the tension between them was clear. Soon after, a disturbing video surfaced online showing Billie Jo in a heated argument with Quinton's babysitter, Michelle. The two women shouted accusations at each other, each insisting they had done their best for Quinton. The confrontation, raw and emotional, revealed the fractured relationship surrounding this tragedy.
Don't put nothing in your yard! Go ahead! This is my baby, not yours! That's your right, but that's my baby! I texted you and I told you what was going on! I was gonna announce my phone, you didn't go get it!
Your entire family, keep recording.
Don't take my phone.
Keep recording.
Don't take my phone.
Good,
Yeah,
you were
okay,
wrong!
all this on social
You were wrong,
media.
I begged you to help! I begged you to help! Put that on social media! I begged you to help!
Oh yeah, and
I begged you to help!
Text you.
I said, hey Michelle, please get the kids!
You're a liar.
Take them out. Good, because you're awful to say you're gonna put a memorial. My baby's not dead.
You are a liar.
My baby's not dead. My baby's not dead. I thought you were a woman of God. You got Quinton? Do you have Quinton?
I don't have Quinton.
Maybe you do. Maybe you do. You got him.
As police continued to search the landfill, Leilani made a strange and desperate move. One of the lead detectives received an unexpected text message from her, an attempt to shift suspicion toward her boyfriend Danny. She claimed he had gone out that night, hinting he might know more than he admitted, but her message lacked any real detail or logic. It looked more like an act of panic than an honest revelation. Weeks passed. The landfill search stretched into a month. Workers toiled in the unbearable smell of decay, shifting through piles of refuse, searching for the unthinkable. Then, on November 18, 2022, came the moment everyone feared. Deep within a torn trash bag, searchers found the remains of a small child, skull fragments, bones, and decomposed tissue. Forensic testing confirmed the heartbreaking truth. The remains belonged to 20-month-old Quinton Simon. It was the discovery no one wanted to believe. Investigators had hoped against hope that Quinton might still be alive somewhere, but now that hope was gone. They turned once again to Leilani. This time, confronted with irrefutable evidence, she broke down. Claiming drug abuse had clouded her memory, she insisted she didn't remember hurting her son. But the damage was done. 3 days later, on November 21, 2022, police arrested Leilani Simon. She faced multiple charges, including malice murder, 2 counts of murder, concealing a death, making false reports, and spreading false information. Investigators had also uncovered new details from her phone that revealed her unstable mental state. Texts to her boyfriend Danny painted a picture of deep insecurity, jealousy, and desperation for attention. In one message, she threatened to end her own life, saying she felt unloved and unwanted. In others, she poured out her pain, blaming Danny for abandoning her emotionally while she was pregnant with his child. Her babysitter Michelle later shared an audio recording that captured a much darker side of Leilani, a moment filled with rage directed at Quinton.
We've had problems before. Watch. Because all it takes is one person with one picture to make one phone call, and I probably just lose all of them.
The words were chilling, hinting at the emotional instability that might have led to tragedy. With all these details combined, detectives began to piece together a horrifying picture of what likely happened the night Quinton died. They believed Leilani, high on drugs and emotionally unstable, lost control and violently struck her son.
I can't love myself. I've tried over and over and over and I failed. I screamed for help and I don't get it. And Danny, I loved you. I loved you with all of me, all of my heart. I loved you. And even now, after everything that I think has been brought to the light, hopefully it was everything, right? Even now, you look at me with the same look in your eyes that you have when you talk about Caitlin.
In her panic, she drove out in the middle of the night, disposed of his body in a dumpster, and later pretended he had vanished mysteriously.
I don't hear the love in your voice anymore. I don't feel the love in your touch anymore. And I definitely don't see the love in your eyes anymore. If you truly loved me like you claimed you did, you wouldn't have done all that. Even when I was carrying your child and hating myself every day, crying myself to sleep every night because you did not want to have sex with me. You did not want to love me. You just did not want me. You couldn't love me. You couldn't do me right. So please, for the love of God, do my kids right.
2 years later, on October 14, 2024, Leilani's trial began. Her defense team claimed the prosecution had no concrete proof, only speculation and emotion. They argued that no one had seen what happened and that much of the case was based on assumptions. But the prosecution was ready.
This whole case is about rumor, gossip, speculation and innuendo, and ultimately the state's bold conclusions about what they say happened but can't prove. Unquestionably, this is an emotional case. I know that. I have 5 children, 4 grandchildren. So I understand how emotional this can be. But this case can't be decided based on emotions. It has to be decided on facts and evidence presented in this courtroom.
Assistant District Attorney Tim Dean opened with a 2-hour presentation that laid out every inconsistency in Leilani's story. From the night she got her tooth pulled to the moment of her arrest, he connected every lie, every contradiction, and every suspicious movement. The prosecution's evidence painted a clear and devastating picture. Witness after witness took the stand to reveal the truth about Leilani's behavior and her treatment of Quinton. One of the most critical testimonies came from Missy, the woman Leilani falsely claimed to have met at the gas station the night of Quinton's disappearance.
What nickname or nicknames do you have?
Missy.
Missy?
Missy.
M-I-S-S-Y?
Exactly.
Anybody ever call you Misty with a T?
No.
And at that time, about how long had it been since you had last seen her?
I'm guessing roughly around maybe a month or so. Roughly.
It had maybe been roughly a month?
Roughly, yeah.
Missy clarified that she hadn't seen Leilani in over a month before the tragedy.
Did you ever have any in-person contact with her after that?
No.
Okay, and again, this all happened in like July of 2022?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Another key witness, Michelle, the babysitter, spoke through tears about how Quinton often stayed at her home. She described how the toddler seemed happier and more loved there than at his own house. She explained how Leilani would often favor her other child, Zane, feeding him first and treating him differently. It was a painful reminder of how neglected Quinton may have felt in his final days.
You said that Quinton would spend the night sometimes. Would both the boys spend the night or just Quinton?
Zane stayed a handful of times. Quinton stayed a lot.
And why is that? Why would Quinton stay overnight?
Honestly, Quinton loved us. He was close to us. And I just felt like he would be better off at our house because there was a difference in the love she showed between Zane and Quinton. And I felt bad, and I would work, and my daughter would say, "Can we just get him, Mom, because this happened today?" And I would say, "Yeah, call her and ask her if he can stay."
Can you think of some examples of how the defendant treated the boys differently?
Well, she was working at Bojangles, and she had brought food home, and she fed Quinton loved food, and every time he seen a bag, he would want it. He's little. She would feed Zane before she fed Quinton, every time. And I just thought that was strange.
Did she ever, in that conversation, did she explain more about, like, Zane had been through things with her?
Yes,
or anything
that
like
Zane
that?
had been her ride or die his whole life. And she did not like Quinton's father.
The prosecution also revealed new evidence that shattered Leilani's claims of being emotionally destroyed by her breakup with Danny. Text messages showed she had been in a physical relationship with her drug dealer, Craig. Their messages from the night of October 4th placed her out of the house at suspicious hours.
At 12:17 a.m., Leilani initiates a phone call for 19 seconds with Craig. And then at 12:21 a.m., Craig says, "Door open."
One text exchange showed her meeting him shortly before the time she was caught on surveillance driving to the dumpster where Quinton's body was later found.
Then skipping to 1:22 a.m., the previous was at 12:21. So the last one was at 1:22, where she's saying, "I'm home, I loved those hugs." The following message is from Craig at 1:26 a.m., and it says, "Okay, not more than I did. I was about to grab that kitty one time."
Even more disturbingly, detectives testified that Leilani had gone out drinking the very night the landfill search began, and that, while in jail, she had started corresponding romantically with a convicted child offender. These revelations left little room for sympathy. The jury listened in silence as prosecutors laid out the pattern of deceit, neglect, and emotional instability that had led to a child's death. The defense struggled to counter the overwhelming evidence. After 10 intense days in court, the verdict came on October 25, 2024. Leilani Simon was found guilty on all 14 counts. 1 month later, on November 21st, Judge Tammy Stokes sentenced her to life in prison with an additional 10 years. Although justice was served, the true details of what happened that night remain unknown. No one knows exactly how Quinton's final moments unfolded. What's left is the haunting image of a smiling little boy, gone far too soon. After the trial, Billie Jo Howell, Leilani's mother, sold her home, hoping to close one of the darkest chapters of her life. But the pain of losing Quinton will never fade. Among those who loved him most, babysitter Michelle stood out as a light in his short, tragic story. She had cared for him, given him love, and created moments of peace in a life that had too little of it. Even in tragedy, Quinton's story serves as a reminder of how fragile life is and how vital it is to protect the innocent. If you want to see more stories like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and help us continue telling the stories that matter.